Hi again, everyone. Thank you for waiting 2 more minutes to let everyone arrive on the session. Yeah, thank you for joining us today. We're going to discuss during this webinar the topic of the sport teams and leagues, the new challenges of TV and OTT distribution into the industry. If you have any question during the presentation, you can either ask them in the Q&A section of the call. I might not answer the question during the session, but we will make sure to come back to you after it with a dedicated answer, or you will be able as well to send us an email, because I will show you how to get in touch with us by the end of the call. So the session will be in 2 times. The first part of the session will be dedicated to a small presentation about Dataxis, and also a few slides on the industry and the new challenges of the TV and the OTT distribution for the sport. And the second part of the session will be a little tour on our Dataxis market research platform to show you few dashboards and explain you with these dashboards the new trends in the sport for the TV and OTT distribution. So I think we can start now. You already see the screen. So first of all, we will talk about a little bit Dataxis. So Dataxis, as some of you might know, is a market research and event company. We have 3 different products, the research, and in the research we will track operators, key players in different fields with their subscribers, revenues, ARPU. For instance, in the TV distribution, the OTT world, the content distribution, the telecom, the technologies, the media, and also the sport. We also have the events. This is our second side of activities. During these events, we gather key players and of the different topics we also cover in the market research, because for 20 years, we have been able to gather a lot of information and to get to know the industry, and that's why we organize these events online or on site. This year we have 35 events, and we will talk about the sport event, but there will be one this year as well. And the third product is the advertising. Advertising is about sponsoring a webinar, just like this one, ad banners, white papers. So these are the 3 main activities of Dataxis. Talking about the event, as I was mentioning, so we will have one on-site event in Berlin, the 11th of October 2022. As we've seen, since we organize events, this is a good occasion to gather budget owners, decision makers for the sport TV distribution, sport pay TV operators, sport broadcasters, sport OTT platforms, leagues, clubs, right owners with an OTT strategy. And these are networking events. We are the leader on that scope. Decision makers and budget owners will take part of different panels and discussions, and the topics that will be addressed are the topics you can see on the screen. So it goes from the innovation in sport broadcasting for sport TV networks, also about the fighting live sports piracy, the strategic evolution in the free-to-air sport broadcasting, but also the monetization and distribution strategies from leagues and federations, but also setting up a monetization, a European OTT sport platform, and also the social media platform sport strategies, which is something that we will also talk about when we will go into the market research platform. So yeah, save the date. This is our event on sport. And once again, if you have a question, you can ask them in the Q&A on the call, or sending us an email after the session. We will we'll get back to you on that. Also, the information can be found in the website. I will show you right after where to go for that. So now that we've seen a little bit the activities of Dataxis, we will go deeper into the subject of the sport and the research. To highlight this, I will show you two slides. The first one is about the evolution of the main leagues revenues within the past years, as you can see here. And we can see on this graph the evolution of these values and the diminution actually of the values linked to the pandemic, but also the change of habits into this industry in the consumption of the sport. And so it's more reason for the leagues and the teams to diversify revenues source, like with broadcasting on traditional TV and OTT. The second second slide I wanted to show you is about the key players in Western Europe in the premium sport distribution. And we track the value of rights, and this is what we are going to see together today as well in the dashboards right now, actually. So we're going to go to the second part of this session. We will go to see the website of Dataxis and the platform to look at the data and understand all the different hot topics and trends. So here we are on the website of Dataxis. First of all, what you will find on the website, just before going into the dashboard of the sport, you will find our coverage. So of course, we do not cover only sport. Sport is something that our analyst Guillaume worked on for a few months now, but we went to the sport because we knew already other topics and other industries, such as the TV distribution. The first one you can see here, but we track all the topics. So if you want to have more details, you can go back here in our coverage and have more details on the different topics we cover in market research. In what we do, basically, this is what we've seen on the second slide, the different products of Dataxis. You will have the research in those three different these three topics here. This is about the research. Here is about the events. So if you have questions or if you want more details on the sport event that we will have in Berlin in October, this is where you have to go. And then we have the advertising side with the webinars, white papers, and advertising. And if you were wondering, after this session, you will be able to look again at the presentation and the recording of today into this section, the webinar section. So I invite you to go there after. Furthermore, since you registered to that session, you will receive an email after the call with the link directly to go back on the webinar. Also, we have insights. For the insights, we have research highlights and infographics made by our precious analysts. They are published 1 to 2 per week on not only sport, but all the different topics we cover. And it's really interesting actually to get some insights of what's happening in the industries we track. So I really invite you to go there. You will receive them directly in your mailbox. Who we are, I already give some question. Contact us. If you want to reach at us again, you can go there. And the main focus for today, how to access the dashboards and to understand the challenges of the sport industry. You need to go on Access My Product, corporate subscription. This is where our clients go when they want to see the dashboards of sport, for example. Also, I invite you to try the free trial here. This is something new. So after this session, if you want to go back to the dashboards, you can click on free trial, and this will allow you to see all the different topics we cover with outdated data and random countries. It's a good way anyway to have a sense of what we track and how it's presented. Try the KPIs. But without further ado, let's go on the corporate side. So we are now on the corporate side. You can see if you go down our latest publication here, you will have the market reports, the actor profiles, and the topics we cover, including, of course, the sport. And that's what we're going to see now. You can find also all the coverage we have that we talked about just previously. So from the TV distribution with the pay TV, free to air, the TV networks with the broadcasters, the TV channels, also the OTT video with all the OTT different services, the forecasts, the content with the cinema and the video games, the sport, that's what we're going to see, the online media with the advertising expenditures, net advertising, newspapers, magazines, the online and the addressable TV, the telecom with the broadband and the mobile, connected devices with device sales and install base, TV technologies and broadband technologies, telecom infrastructure and satellite infrastructure, and also the music streaming industry, radio, podcast, and environmental data. These are all the topics we track. Now, sport. So basically, we're going to see now the sport in two different assets, the TV side and also the digital side. So we track the sport distribution with the premium sport distribution, the sport channel reach and the broadcasting right, but also the sport leagues and teams with their revenues, also a sport OTT tracker and sport social media. The first thing that we can actually relate to the last dashboard we've seen together, last slide we've seen together with the key players in Western Europe for the broadcasting right. We can make a parallel with this dashboard because we can see the main sport rights and who own them in the industry. So I make a focus on France for all this presentation, but we track obviously other countries. And on that view, you will have the possibility to understand for which league competition and right area, who owns the right, which group, which operator, for which sport, because we track different sports, and also the quarter of starting date and the quarter of end date, plus the value. So this is something that we track, the sport media right value for different countries. You can play with the KPIs actually when you have an access to the dashboards. You can change views, as you can see here, and you have the possibility to download the data as well when you have an access to the platform. The support center here allow you to get in touch with our analysts. It's unlimited, included in any subscription. It's free. And if you are looking at data sport, of course, the data from the sport modules, you might talk with Guillaume, our analyst who did all the research for this. So yeah, talking about the sport broadcasting rights by operator. So since we track the value spent by operator to acquire the rights and broadcast the competitions, we track the distribution of packages and channels operating by these operators. So that's why we can also look at the premium sport distribution by actor. And this will be via TV or OTT. So here we can see the package, the group, the country, the editor, and the subscribers, revenues, ARPU, and the ratio for the TV and the OTT. Again, the focus here is on France, and the top of the columns are the KPIs you will see on the right. So as I was just mentioning, for the OTT package, subscribers, revenues, ARPU. For the TV package, same, subscribers, revenues, ARPU. And then you will get the ratio with the shares. Once again, the focus here is on France, but we track it for a lot of other territories, as you can see here. You always have the possibility to filter, to change the currency, to change the views, and to export the data, plus to contact our analyst if you have any question on how was calculated that number, for example, that figure. In addition to the premium sport distribution, of course, we also track the sport channel reach. We track in the database all the channel for every territories and every genre and subgenre, but we've decided to make one special view for the sport offer dedicated to the sport channels. You will have the subgenre, of course, the channel, the model, if it's free to air, basic expanded, basic, premium, and then the penetration on that view. especially. So here is penetration, but of course we have different views for that. So it's really complete to understand fully the industry, the key players, who broadcasts, which channels are involved, what are the values of the rights. So we can give answer on that and look at the evolution with our dashboard. So this was about the TV, but as I said before, since we've seen the traditional TV side of sport right distribution, we will now have a look at the digital side, because this is something that is really important to understand the future of the industry, what's going on actually for the sport. So for that, we track the sport teams and leagues revenues. Once again, the focus is on sport. And as you can see here, we can explain the expansion actually of the teams and leagues toward digital via the revenues. We have the share revenues, of course, here. For example, you have the 24 hours of Le Mans, the French basketball leagues, French basketball second division. You see, we cover a lot of different sports with the evolution of their revenues. The broadcasting revenues, the leagues teams yearly revenues, and the share of the broadcasting revenues, all combined in one dashboard. And as you can see, the share of revenue of broadcasting has increased due to the COVID. And some other revenues has decreased, such as the ticketing, because it was not possible to go see live sport. So the clubs and leagues had to find new ways to engage their fans, and that's what we're going to see with the Sport OTT Tracker. So in the Sport OTT Tracker, we will track the team leagues and then on which video platform they are displayed, by which platform provider, on which area, which sport, if they also make live broadcasting or not. So we have the possibility to filter all these topics and to gather them into one view. So this is something really interesting, actually, because it goes in the transition of the way a sport is consumed in the countries and in the industry, of course, of the broadcasting. Once again, you can export this data if you have an access to the dashboard. You can contact our analysts via the support center. Yeah, in addition to the OTT, social media are always something really important. Are also something really important nowadays. They are useful to reach out to more people, to enrich the influence of the teams or the leagues, and also to entertain and fidelize the fan base. So that's why we've decided to also track the social media in sports. And this is what we can see here. Again, on France, just to follow on the same country. On that view, you will have the possibility to track the followers on different social media platforms, such as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, or YouTube, for example. And you can see the amount of followers for all the different actors. Once again, this is one special view. You can play with the views, and this will give you a really good sense of what's happening for the sport industry in every country that we track. So yeah, to summarize, we've seen together on the different dashboards that there's an evolution in the sport and in the industry. We've seen the sport broadcasting rights, but also the distribution of the sport, and also the reach of the channels to understand the TV side of sport. And we also track the digital side with the evolution of the revenues of the sport teams and leagues. The OTT tracker that helps to understand also what are the new tool in hand of the players to diversify to diversify the way of broadcasting the sport, such as the OTT, of course, and also the social media that are important for the image, the influence, and entertain the fan base of the clubs and teams. So that's it for today. Once again, I will not take the questions that might have been asked, but we will come back to you because I will read them right after, and we will come back to you with a dedicated answer. If you want to reach at us, you can also contact me on my personal professional address, Danico@dataxis.com, sorry, or also directly on the contact us on our website. Plus, we will send to you after the recording ends this presentation if you want to look at it again, and it will be also uploaded on our webinar section on the website. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming today. And yeah, I look forward to have other discussions, and do not hesitate if you have any questions. Thanks again, Guillaume, for making all these dashboards. Have a nice day.